Chapter 7, Audio 2, City Breaks 95.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sarah Chan, and on behalf of the International Travel Information Bureau, I'd like to welcome all of you from the travel trade to our seminar on City Breaks 95. I'm delighted to see so many of you here today. As everyone in the travel industry knows, city break holidays are becoming increasingly popular with tourists. So, in order to keep us all up to date, I'm very pleased to welcome 3 speakers from 3 very different cities. First, you will hear Ted Rogers from the London Travel Bureau. The London Travel Bureau is responsible for all the millions of tourists who flock to London each year to enjoy both its history and culture. You will then hear from Susan Lee from the Singapore Tourist Association. Susan is the director of the association, so she is ideally qualified to answer any questions you may have about Singapore. Lastly, we are going to hear all about Bangkok from Dwight Green, the Public Affairs Manager of the Bangkok Tourist Group. The Bangkok Tourist Group was established 20 years ago and is responsible for all tourism in the Thai capital. Well, now that you all know who our speakers are, I'd like you to give a warm welcome to Ted Rogers, who's going to tell you all about city breaks in London.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you all for giving me the chance to come and talk to you today about the many tourist attractions in London. First of all, London is a famous and historical city, and therefore has many sites of interest for holidaymakers to visit. The royal palaces and castles, for example, are especially popular. Then, of course, there are the many entertainment attractions of the city. You can spend a day touring round our world-renowned museums and art galleries, and then relax at the theatre in the evening. There are usually up to 20 different plays on in Theatreland, London's West End, so there's plenty to choose from. No good holiday is complete without good food. London's cosmopolitan restaurants serve a huge range of international cuisine, so there's something to suit everyone's taste. French food is well known for its excellence, and there are many French restaurants. But if you fancy something different, there's always Greek or Indian, to name just a couple of examples. The choice is really endless. Lastly, but by no means least, in these budget-conscious times, one of London's main attractions is its value for money. Compared to Hong Kong, hotels and restaurants are much cheaper, which of course makes your money go much further during the holiday. Talking of hotels, I think I'd better give you an outline of the different kinds of accommodation available. At the lower end of the price range are hostels. Hostels are very cheap and are usually used by students. They tend to rent out beds rather than rooms for the night. But you can sometimes get rooms, so I suppose prices range from £10 for a bed up to £40 for a room. Next on the scale, and far more numerous, are places which offer bed and breakfast accommodation. Bed and breakfast, or B&B hotels as they're called, tend to be small, family-run establishments and can be found throughout London. They are often in very convenient locations, and prices range from £45 to £100 for a room, depending on how smart they are. Of course, London also has an abundance of good, first-class hotels, some of which, like the Ritz and the Savoy, are famous in their own right. Their names are synonymous with luxury and good service. Wonderful places to stay if you really want to spoil yourself on your holiday. Prices go from £150 to £1,200 for a suite. So, lastly, what about getting around in London? Well, it may be a big city, but it's easy to get from place to place. There is an inexpensive underground network, like the MTR, called the Tube. Alternatively, you can take a bus. They run all day and all night, which is great for those who enjoy a night out. If you don't want to use public transport, you can always take a taxi. Unlike in Hong Kong, the London taxi drivers have to take a test to prove that they know London inside and out. So it doesn't matter if you don't know where you are going. If you give them an address, they'll get you there. What about getting to London? That's easy too. Flights leave Hong Kong 4 times a day, and direct flights only take between 12 and 14 hours. Well, I hope that has given you a good overview of the many attractions of London, and that you'll encourage all your customers to go. If you have any specific questions, I'd be happy to answer them later. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. I'd now like to ask our next speaker, Susan Lee, to tell you all about the holiday opportunities in Singapore. Miss Lee.
Thank you, Miss Chan. You'd expect a successful city-state to be a bustling metropolis, but Singapore deserves credit for being the most relaxed supercity in the whole of Asia. The city is surprisingly green and spread out, very easygoing in mood, and its overwhelming efficiency makes a pleasant change if you live in a frenzied, crowded environment. Some of its laws may seem very strict. For example, you can't chew gum or smoke in public, but Singaporeans don't let this cramp their style. They have space, independence, and affluence. This wealth has made the city a good place both to live in and to visit. In addition, for such a small place, there is a comparatively wide variety of entertainment options, literally on the doorstep. This is one of the reasons that Singapore is so popular with the whole family. There is something for everyone. Singapore's hot, humid, tropical climate, with its brief, refreshing rainstorms, favours most outdoor pursuits, particularly water sports. People go windsurfing during the winter monsoon, scuba diving during the summer, and rock climbing all year round, as long as it's not raining, of course. You can also go mountain biking all year round, as long as you know where to go. With so many possibilities, it's no wonder Singapore is popular with young visitors. When you've exhausted the local waters, there's much more in store for you in the rest of the city. Singapore has many other attractions apart from sports. Perhaps it is most renowned for its shopping. The heart of the city is packed with a huge variety of shops, catering to every need in a cool, air-conditioned environment. However, if you want to relax in more natural surroundings, the Botanical Park and Gardens are only a short bus ride from the centre of town. There you can stroll in beautiful green parkland and admire the various plants and trees from all over Asia. If you are interrupted by a short burst of rain, why not visit one of our excellent museums? They'll tell you all about the history and development of Singapore, as well as showing a wide array of historic, sometimes priceless, museum artifacts. Like London, Singapore also prides itself on the excellence of its cuisine. You can enjoy tasty and spicy Malaysian food, or indulge yourself at an international buffet at one of the hotels. Of course, there are also many excellent Chinese restaurants in the city. Finally, I feel that I should point out the other attraction of Singapore that London doesn't share: its proximity to Hong Kong. My city is only a short flight away and can easily be visited over a long weekend. I hope you'll take me up on the offer, and I look forward to meeting more Hong Kong tourists in Singapore. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Miss Lee. There's certainly a lot to do in Singapore. If anyone has any questions, I'm sure Miss Lee will be happy to answer them later. Finally, I'd like you to welcome Dwight Green, who will outline the attractions of Bangkok. Mr. Green.
Thank you, Miss Chan. It is a shame that Bangkok, which literally means City of Angels, is more often associated with horrendous traffic jams than the dreamy spires of its temples. The city can be chaotic and does have some disadvantages. It's hot, polluted, and you'll soon notice crowded with people 24 hours a day. Yet, if you allow your imagination to stretch beyond this initial picture, you'll find a city rich in history and with lots of culture. In addition, the people are friendly and charming and guaranteed to help make your stay a success. It would be misleading to pretend that Bangkok is a great sporting adventure destination, but there are a great variety of things to do and see when on holiday there. Many people come specifically to go sightseeing in the city. In particular, the numerous temples with their gleaming golden spires are a famous attraction. It could be said, however, that Bangkok's nightlife is really what has made it famous the world over. If you like a city with an active nightlife, you'll love Bangkok, with its thousands of bars and discos which stay open all night for your amusement. If you then find that you're worn out with such a hectic social life in the evenings, you'll be pleased to know that the nearest beach is only 2.5 hours away. Once there, you can either just sunbathe or unwind by going diving or surfing, which is a sport growing in popularity in Thailand. Boards are easy to rent, and instruction lessons are cheap. Perhaps the best way to feel that you've really got away from it all is to take a trip out to one of Thailand's great national parks. With their lush tropical vegetation and nature trails, they're a great place to go animal or plant spotting while trekking. Trekking is a fun, healthy activity which can be enjoyed by all the family. There are 8 national parks within easy reach of the capital. They offer great opportunities, as I've just said, for trekking, as well as biking or rafting through areas of steamy tropical rainforest. I'd just like to describe one park to you in detail as an example. Erwan National Park is situated in the hills and is famous for its stunning 7-tiered waterfall. It is a 1,500-meter cascade of water, which has created all kinds of limestone pools and fascinating rock formations. Each level is worth stopping at, but the top and the bottom tiers are the biggest and the most spectacular. You can also wander off the beaten track to explore deciduous forest, where you may glimpse monkeys and wild pigs. Erwan National Park is 200 kilometers from Bangkok and can be reached by bus or train. The bus is quicker, but the train is more scenic. The views can be really wonderful during the journey. As an alternative to motorized transport, you can arrange to travel the final leg of your journey on a river raft. Although unusual, it's an exhilarating, exciting way to travel. Well, I think my time is nearly up, so I'll stop now and leave you with that lovely image of one of our most beautiful national parks. I hope you'll encourage your customers to come and experience the many pleasures of Bangkok for themselves.